What's going on, my twisted little psychopathic campers?
Campfacer.
Are you twisted? Are you mental? Are you into gore, horror? Yeah, I know you guys are. I know it. That's why you're here. That's why we're here talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game. There's no release date yet. Gun Interactive announced their trailer, their teaser trailer. If you missed it, go back and watch it on my channel. But here today, we're going to talk about it. Again, click notifications to all because this is a channel to come to, because from here on out, like I said before, you guys, we're going to be talking everything to do with this game. News, updates, ideas. Like today's idea, we're going to go through ideas for a map and ways to escape. We don't know what's going on yet. We have no details on the game whatsoever. All we do know, though, is that it's going to be taking place in 1974, which the original movie took place, but Gun Interactive mentioned that it's going to be building up to that point in the movie. They never said how far back. It could even be hours before they show up in the van. It could be right before they show up, or it could be months or even years before. We don't know. But today, I drew out a little map. I hand drew it, and we're going to kind of look at this map and see what's... When you see a visual of it, we can come up with better ideas of like maybe how the killers are going to approach the survivors and maybe possible ways of getting away and so on. We don't know the gameplay details yet, but today is going to be a little fun little speculate, come up with ideas like maybe they plan on doing this or that. We're going to dive into it a little deep and see what we got. It's going to be kind of fun. Now, Gun Interactive did say that there's going to be three killers, which is Bubba, with aka Leatherface, the cook, and the hitchhiker. And we did get confirmation from Matt from Gun Interactive saying that technically their last name is called the Sawyers, but in the original 1974 film, their last name was referred to by the Slaughters. I guess because I don't know if that was really their technical last name, or they were just kind of referring to them because they were worked in the butcher industry. I know Leatherface did growing up. And Bubba didn't even come into play till later on in the films. Leatherface was Leatherface in the original. Nubbins wasn't even the original. Wasn't his name in the original. I forget what they called him. But yeah, we're gonna refer to them as the cook, the hitchhiker, and Leatherface. Let's get into this. Okay. So you guys can laugh. This is my little drawing I did. It's like a 2-year-old little colored drawing map, but you get the idea. But now we know. Let's go back a little bit. Gun Interactive said that this game, they bought the license. They got the license to make the original 1974. That's where we're starting. If the game does good enough, I'm sure we'll get DLC for later on movies and characters in the game. But for now, this is what we're working with. So this is why I wanted to draw this map up and try to see how much we could see if it would work and see how much of a map we have to play with. Now, this is going from my idea from watching the film and seeing some photos online, and it might be a little different. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to go over this map, the layout of it, the ideas for the escape, maybe the killers, what they can do, how they're going to work, because we're going to have 3 killers at the same time versus we don't know how many survivors. Hopefully, if there's 3, hopefully we have at least 6 survivors or more, but no more than 8. Between 6 and 8, I think, would be pretty good, considering we have 3 killers on the loose, on the hunt, I should say. So that's 100%. We know Gunn is doing the 1974 film, which what you're looking at. I know it looks like a little child drew this in kindergarten, but this is my quick little version of the map. This is fun for me. I hope you guys are enjoying this as well. Again, give this video a like, especially for this drawing. Okay, now, I know there was no lake in the film, or maybe there was. I have to rewatch it again. I added some things here because I'm sure Gunn's gonna have to add a little bit more to the map, considering the film was so limited with uh, places to visit. Especially, it was all taking place for the most part between the gas station, the main house, the field, the main road. Okay, so now we have three killers: the hitchhiker, Leatherface, and the cook, going after, let's say, six survivors. My friend Laughin and I, Laughin is another YouTuber, check his channel out. I'll post the link in the description below to Laughin's channel, because, him and I have been going back and forth with horror gaming stuff way back since Friday the 13th launched. And we like to talk and have fun with this kind of stuff. And Laughin came up with the idea, what if the killers, the three killers, had their own objectives. They want to feed their family. Leatherface in the film would grab the victim and hang him up on a hook and wait to do the rest of the job and hack him up. And he would also go out on the hunt as well. But the hitchhiker would go up and down the road and lure people in to get back to the main house. Now the cook, he would do a little bit of both between grabbing the victim, towing him into the house, and helping out the hitchhiker if he needed help, and so on. So what if each killer had their own job? Let's just say, what if Leatherface's job was to perform the kill, put them on the hook and kill them? That was his objective. But the other two had to grab the victims and bring them back, maybe injure them. Maybe they could injure them and tie him up and bring him back, put him in a car, or just put him over the shoulder and bring him back to the house. That was their job, to bring him to Leatherface. But my idea too was, what if one of the killers accidentally injured them too much that they died? Now in the game, that killer, the person playing the killer, the online player, loses XP because he wasn't supposed to kill the actual survivor. That kind of gives a little balance to the game, because if all three of them go out just to kill, then it would be too easy for 3v say 6 survivors, and it would just, people would exploit the game and troll people just by killing them all the time. So what if they lose a lot? What if they don't level up, they lose XP? What if they make them lose the match by killing the survivor when they're supposed to bring it back, the person back to Leatherface, and then Leatherface performs a kill, whether it be tying him up on a table, chopping him up with a chainsaw, or putting him on the hook. I know I want to get away from that Dead by Daylight aspect of the hook, so I know that's what happens in this film. But so let's break it down a little bit. Let's get into this map. Here, up here, right here, we have the main house. It's not that big of a house in the film, but it's big enough to, I could see there being, the halls, the stairs, the upstairs, downstairs, some different rooms in the back. And then you have the basement where Leatherface, he pulls him through the door on the first floor and then walks him down to the basement. And then upstairs is where they have the dining, where they eat at the table, the iconic scene of them all hanging out with Grandpa. The house is, fairly big enough for the first map of this game to launch. And then over here to the left you have the windmill. Down here we got the dirt driveway. It's fairly long, and there's barbed wire fence alongside the dirt driveway. And behind the windmill here, we have, over here up top, we have like a barn shed type deal we could work with. I added some trees, like brush and trees around here, to maybe the survivors can run out of the house quickly and hide in here, and when the time's right they could go to the barn. When the time's right they could run and hide in this brush here, and then back here. But all this green, solid green, would be the open field, the farm field, where, like you see, it's like all flat, maybe a little bit of hill bumps and stuff, but it doesn't go too far before you reach the woods. And in the woods it gets a little more thick. Same on this side over here. So that's my idea of the layout of the map. But at the bottom of the dirt driveway, you reach the main road with a yellow line in there. I know I'm a very good artist, right? Well, this is the main road, and let's say we go down to the right. Eventually you would you would come upon the graveyard, where in the beginning of the 1974 film you see the corpse on top of the gravestone holding the head. The graveyard could be big. There could be a couple like what do they call those indoor grave buildings? Maybe there's a bunch of headstones you could hide behind. Maybe there's some like hills, but then you could go up north, and maybe I added this lake here with the stream. Maybe there's a little lake you could go around, or in the lake, or across it, and then go upstream through the woods, or you could even walk through the woods to get to the house. So maybe let's see, let's just say a survivor could be hiding in here, waiting for another survivor to come through the main door and carry somebody out. They're trying to save somebody, and this guy can come and back him up while this guy's running down the driveway. Somebody could come or come around the woods and flank through the back door. I mean, depending on how big the actual map is, there could be a lot of ways to hide and run, where, you know, you're thinking the film's just one house in the main open field. So if Gun Interactive adds a lot of shrubs, bushes, trees, part of a forest, a lake that you can go around, or maybe you can't go through the water because maybe you'll drown. I don't know how they make it play out, but there could be something over here you need to get, like some kind of weapons, or you could find something over here. I know this isn't all part of the actual film, but we're thinking a video game here. Now, when you create a video game, or you want to play a video game, you want to make sure it's fun enough to the main core of the film is here, but you have to have something to, you know, if there's not enough to hide in. I know some of this doesn't look like it would be part of the game. You would be like, why Campfacer? If it's not in the film, why would they put it in there? If that lake's not in the film, or if these trees or this part of the forest isn't there, it wouldn't make sense. Well, you know, again, at the end of the day, you guys, it's a video game, so you got to make it somewhat fun and somewhat balanced. So adding certain things like this would kind of make sense for people to run and hide somewhere, because if there was no trees or forest, I can't see the survivors like having a chance. So having the forest on both sides to an extent where they have to reach there, that would kind of make sense in my book. But anyways, down at the other side of the road, you have the old gas station. Maybe there's things in here that you need to go in to, maybe keys in there in the back room that you have to go back to the main house to unlock a certain door. You know, maybe they could spawn here one match, and maybe another match they could spawn somewhere in a little shack on the other side of the river here. Maybe Gun could actually add a couple houses. Hold on. Maybe Gun could add like a little, let me just change this here. The size. All right, maybe they could add a couple little shacks over in here, like somebody's old house that they're still living in the middle of the woods. Maybe Gun can even add like some pathways that go to the lake, and one goes to this part, and then off of this one, maybe one comes through here to the graveyard, and maybe there's like certain little dead ends that have certain things in the woods here that wouldn't really necessarily be in the film, but it would kind of be like a behind the scenes, like maybe that was there in the film, we just never saw it. They got to add certain things like that in there. Maybe once you get to the end of the road, you could hide on the other side of the road in this brush and wait for a truck to come down to bring the survivor to the truck before the hitchhiker comes after you, and so on. So there definitely is a lot to work with here. There could even be an outdoor, like, you know, the fallout shelter, like bulkheads they call them, where, you know, say like a tornado were to come through, they could go down and there's like some kind of weapons down in here, or a different room inside the ground. They could add so much more than what was actually in the film, just to make it have more sense to playing a video game. Now, as far as the killers go, I had another idea too. I don't know if this one would make much sense at all, but it was kind of a fun little idea. What if Leatherface had the option to work the house where he could bring the victims in and chop them up and kill them and whatever. And what if he could also explore down the drive, the main road, in the four? He has full reign of the whole map. And then let's just say the hitchhiker was only able to take over this part of the map right here. Say the hitchhiker only had this section, and then he wasn't allowed to go beyond that, or he would, you know, when you go across a path in the video game, it has a timer ticking down. Maybe he's confined to this spot. Now let's just say the cook has reign of this area here, and Leatherface has the whole thing. So maybe that would balance out the killers, so that way all three killers aren't onto one person at the same time. Except for Leatherface and whoever he's with. Like if Leatherface enters this spot, him and the cook have reign on the survivors in this spot. If he enters the hitchhiker's area, then it's Leatherface and the hitchhiker. Maybe there's something like that, but in a way that would be very limited with the killers. It would be kind of like annoying. If you were the hitchhiker, you could never go up to the house. If you're the cook, you could never go down to the main road. That could be a little annoying. And then it would be weird if you had to cross that line, but you couldn't cross, whether it be a barricade, like you hit an invisible wall, or a timer goes down, or maybe you just lose XP. But I like the idea that Laughlin and I were talking about. Your job as a cook and the hitchhiker is to bring the victims back. You can wound them and injure them so they don't go running off there, like limping. But if you do it too much, you kill them, and when they die, you lose the XP or the match ends. Until Leatherface gets a chainsaw, he could kill them, or he could bring them back, and so on. Maybe once you kill a victim, you can bring them up to Grandpa upstairs, or pieces of them, and feed Grandpa. Grandpa. I know that part's so twisted. Yeah, there's so much potential to this game. I just hope it's bloody as hell, gory. I hope we have somewhat of an idea today, me talking about this. I don't know if it has anything to do with this layout of a map, but this would be a lot of fun, you guys. I don't know how you would actually escape. Maybe somebody's gonna go back and get the van. Maybe the van's broken down and you have to get keys or something like Friday the 13th and repair the van and get the van started and go down to the main road. Or maybe there's an 18-wheeler truck that comes by and kills the hitchhiker, but I don't know how that would play out, the timing of that. I don't know. I have no idea. This is just fun to talk about. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of these ideas, the map. What would you do different? Do you like these ideas? Do you think it would be cool to have a map basically around the original film, but add things to it? Maybe a couple little houses in the forest, maybe different routes, a pathway to the lake, even if the lake wasn't there, the graveyard, the main road with trees on the other side that you could hide. Do you guys like these ideas, or the killer ideas where they have to bring the victims back, and if they kill the victim, then they lose XP? Do you guys like the idea of the killer having their own territory, and if they leave that, then they could ruin the game? These are just all ideas, and if you guys like what you see, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you have not already, and again, click notifications to all. Again, I'm going to be covering this game from here on out. News, updates, ideas. Yeah, so I appreciate every single one of you guys, and as always, campers, you know what I'm going to say?